All right, we'll start the meeting now. Welcome everyone to our regular council meeting for July 6th. I'm going to call the meeting to order and remind everyone to please turn your cell phones off if you're able, or place them on vibrate so it doesn't disturb the meeting. I'll remind council the declaration of pecuniary interest, if it arises, you can declare it now, or when the item comes, make sure you jump in and declare it then. We do have minutes here from the March 6th.
Meeting is being recorded.
I'm getting feedback there, but anyways, we do have minutes here from the regular council meeting from March 16th, revised minutes, and regular council meeting June 15th. I'll look for a motion to receive them if they're in order. Moved by Councillor Webb, and seconder for that. I'm only seeing Barry there, so Barry is seconding it to Councillor Pomeroy. All in favor of, do you have something there, Councillor Pomeroy? Okay. So all in favor of the motion?
I'm in favor.
Okay, and Councillor Ellis, we have enough to carry it anyways. It is really small here. There's a lot of people on the screen. So when you do move something or want to speak to something, please hold your hand up so I can see it, because there's a lot of screens here this morning. So with that, I'll look for a motion to go into a public meeting for zoning bylaw amendment. Moved by Councillor Webb and seconded by, do you have a seconder for that?
I'll second that, Mayor Martin.
Okay.
Councillor Giroux.
Seconded by Councillor Giroux, or Deputy Mayor Giroux. We're starting off really well here. All right, all in favor of the motion? And that's carried. So this zoning bylaw amendment is for Joe and Grace Sylvestre. It's held under Section 34 of the Planning Act. The owner and applicant are Joe and Grace Sylvestre. The property is described as part of Lot 12 in Section 3. I'm getting some feedback off Dave. I think you have to mute there. Being Part 1 of the registered plan, 45R 4035, having a municipal address of 60 Fire Route 71, Methuen Ward, West Twin Lake, having a property roll number of 1531-010-005-06900. Any persons may attend the public meeting and or make verbal, written representation either in support or opposition of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment. Please keep your video off and microphone muted during the meeting until the chair invites you to comment regarding the planning matter. If a person or a public body does not make oral submission at the public meeting or make written submissions to the Township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen before the proposed zoning bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen to the local planning appeal tribunal. If a person or public body does make an oral submission at the public meeting or make written submission to the Township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen before the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is passed, the persons or public body may be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the local planning appeal tribunal, unless in the opinion of the tribunal there are reasonable grounds to add the person or public body as a party. If you wish to be notified of the passing of the zoning bylaw amendment, you must make written requests to the Township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen. That's my part of it. I'm going to pass it over. I don't know whether Sonia is taking this or Montana.
I believe I am taking this one. So can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is an application for a zoning bylaw amendment for Joe and Grace Sylvestre. The purpose and effect of this application is to present for the consideration and requisite approval of council an application to amend comprehensive zoning bylaw 1995-42 as amended in order to permit the redevelopment of the lot in the form of a new single detached dwelling inclusive of an attached garage and sunroom while also introducing certain site-specific regulations. The property address is 60 Fire Route 71, roll number 1531010050690. The property is 0.95 acres. The zoning is seasonal residential and the official plan designation is shoreline residential. The property is in the Methuen ward. My recommendation is that, subject to any new information or public comments received prior to or at the statutory public meeting, that the draft bylaw be passed as presented. The applicants are requesting permission to redevelop the property by constructing a new single detached dwelling with an attached garage. The existing cottage will be demolished and the proposed new cottage will generally occupy the area of the existing dwelling to reduce the amount of tree removal required to accommodate the new development. As proposed, the new dwelling will have a ground floor area of 1,560 square feet and a gross floor area of 2,850 square feet, with the attached garage having an area of 480 square feet, and the attached sunroom will have an area of 168 square feet. The dwelling will have a height of 24 feet. The dwelling will be located within the 30-meter shoreline setback and would be set back 65.6 feet from the high water mark. It is important to note that the shoreline setbacks on the property will not be reduced beyond what is currently existing. A scoped environmental impact study was prepared in support of the development, and the study found that no significant environmental impacts are expected to result from the development. Further, it's understood that consideration has been given by the applicants to reduce the extent of tree removal when considering the most appropriate location for the new dwelling. In this case, the chosen location represents the least impact in this regard. Following our review and assessment of this application within the context of the relevant land use planning policies, it is our opinion that the subject application conforms to the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, the County of Peterborough official plan, and the Township's official plan, and is consistent with the provincial policy statement. Public notice was posted on site and mailed to surrounding property owners in accordance with the requirements of the Planning Act. The application has been circulated to relevant agencies and comments have been received from both the Crow Valley Conservation Authority and the Peterborough Public Health Unit, both of whom identified no concerns with the proposed development. Comments have also been received from 2 members of the public and have been provided to council for consideration. Just to speak to the concerns, the proposed development is located in the general area of the existing dwelling on the east side of the peninsula, in an attempt to minimize the amount of vegetation to be removed. And as the new dwelling is located in the area of the former dwelling, there will be no impact or impeded access to Fire Route 71. It is my recommendation that this application be approved.
All right, thank you, Montana. I'll open it up here. Is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition of this zoning bylaw amendment? Second time, is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition? And third time, anybody wishing to speak in opposition? I'll open it up for anybody wishing to speak in favor of this application. Councillor Ellis?
Sorry, I thought you were at the question if we were in favor.
Not yet. I'm just going to see if there's anybody from the public that wishes to speak in favor of this application. Is the applicant on here? Okay. All right, for the third time, anybody wishing to speak in favor? So we do have a recommendation here. Councillor Ellis, I think this is the part you thought it was.
I'm sorry, my name is Grace Sylvester. I was on mute.
Okay.
I am one of the applicants.
Okay, so everything was covered there?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So Councillor Ellis, go ahead.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, excuse me. Saying that all the regulations have been followed, and to me this represents good planning, so I would move that we recommend and move the approval from the planning department for this application.
Okay, so we'll move the recommendation. We'll move the recommendation as it's written here. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Webb. All in favor of that? And that's carried. And as in the past, we have to speed things up here. We do have a bylaw here. Did you want to deal with it now and get that out of the way? Is that okay with council? Okay, so the bylaw here is to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw 1995-42 as amended to permit the redevelopment of the lot in the form of a new single detached dwelling. Oh, Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mayor Martin, if we could return to the regular council meeting and then we can move the bylaw.
Thank you for that, Bob. Can I get a motion to go out of the public meeting and we'll move back into the moved by Councillor Webb, seconder. Councillor Pomeroy. And now I'll ask about the bylaw here. As I read before, the bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw 1995-42. Is there a mover for that?
I'll make the motion to move it, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Ellis, moved by Councillor Ellis. Is there a seconder? Councillor Pomeroy. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move into committee liaison, or let me just get caught up here. We're gonna move into, I've lost my paperwork here. Committee of Adjustment. I need a motion to hand it over to Deputy Mayor Giroux to take over that portion of the meeting. Moved by Councillor Webb and seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. Deputy Mayor Giroux, you can take over the Committee of Adjustment. Give it a try. He has no screen there. He is doing it by phone. So go ahead, Dave.
Good morning, Mayor Martin and council, everyone present. I would like to call this Committee of Adjustment meeting to order and remind the members of the committee of their requirement to disclose any pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof if the occasion arises. This public meeting is held under Section 45 of the Planning Act and its regulations. So I would now ask our planner consultant to provide the report for us this morning. I'm not sure who that is. Maybe it's Montana, is it?
Yes, it is me. So this is for application A-09-2021, and the property information is as follows. The property owners are Kimberly Aldred and Matthew Noble. The property address is 126 Fire Route 67, roll number 153101000522410. The property is 0.5 acres. The zoning is seasonal residential and the official plan designation is shoreline residential. The property is in the Methuen ward. The purpose of this application is to seek relief from section 4.37 along with section 12.2.1C to permit the development of a 20 square foot deck addition to the existing lakeside deck. The application will have the following effects: reducing the minimum required water yard setback from 30 meters to 18.8 meters and reducing the minimum required front yard setback from 21.3 meters to 18.8 meters. The proposed deck addition will not further reduce the existing water setback. The recommendation is that minor variance application A-09-2021 be approved with the following conditions: that the development be completed in accordance with the site plan submitted, that any requisite approval be received by applicable approval authorities prior to the building permit being issued, that a building permit be issued within 12 months of the approval of this application and upon submission to the building department of the appropriate application, fees, and supporting information as required by the chief building official, and that the balance of the information in this report be received. The application has been circulated to relevant agencies and comments were received from the Crow Valley Conservation Authority, who identified they have no concerns. No additional comments have been received. Public notice was posted on site and mailed to surrounding property owners in accordance with the requirements of the Planning Act. As noted, this application is to permit the development of a deck addition within 18.8 meters of the high water mark and 18.8 meters of the front yard. This application meets the 4 tests for minor variance, is in keeping with the provincial policy statement, and meets the intent of the growth plan for the Greater Groton Horseshoe. It is my recommendation that this application be approved.
Thank you for your report, Montana. Well done. First of all, is the applicant present this morning?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Hello?
we'll duly noted. Thank you. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition to this application? I'll say it one more time. We are on airwaves here. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition of this application? Hearing none, is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application? Has the applicant got anything to add this morning?
No,
Have we
thank you.
covered it
Everything's
all?
been covered. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments from the members of the Committee of Adjustment?
Through you, Deputy Mayor Terrell.
Go ahead, Councillor Ellis.
I would move that we approve this minor variance following the recommendations from our planning staff. Thank you.
Councillor Ellis had moved this motion.
And I would
Mayor
second.
Martin, Mayor Martin has seconded the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 It's carried, Dave.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. I will now take a motion to turn the gavel back over to the mayor and resume our regular meeting.
I'll make that motion, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Webb. Seconded by
Councillor Pomeroy seconding it there.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. The gavel is yours.
All right, thank you. With that, we'll move into the regular meeting and planning reports. And our first planning report here is 72 Concession Street. Daryl Ty's taking the lead here. So Daryl, I'll give it to you.
Good morning, Your Worship, members of council. The purpose of this report is to present for council's consideration and recommended approval an application for site plan approval pertaining to 72 Concession Street in Havelock. The owner applicant with respect to this application is Trent Building Supply, care of Mr. Ken Williams. The application proposes to develop the property in the form of a self-storage facility. The property is currently designated and zoned industrial Havelock urban area and restricted industrial respectively in the OP and the zoning bylaw. Upon receipt of the initial application, materials were circulated internally for review and comment, as well as to outside agencies. Comments in response to the circulation were then forwarded to the applicant for review and to consider undertaking any changes to the plans. A revised submission has been received, and based on a high-level review, they appear to now be a limited number of minor items which may require further assessment. Accordingly, Your Worship, members of council, it's our recommendation that council now consider granting site plan approval to this application. Those are my comments.
All right, thank you, Daryl. So this has been around quite a while. What's council's thoughts here? I'd look for a motion to go with the recommendation, or Councillor Webb, go ahead.
Yeah, as Daryl said, the applicant has dotted all the i's and crossed all the t's here and made a number of adjustments. So I say we go with the recommendation of the planner and approve this application.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder there?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried.
Could I have
Question, with a question, Mr. Mayor?
Okay, sorry, go ahead, Councillor Ellis.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, Daryl mentioned some minor outstanding items. Is there anything that we should be concerned of by passing this?
Through the chair, the nature of the recommendation is that council pass a bylaw to authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign the site plan agreement. However, the site plan agreement would not be actually signed physically until the minor items have been rectified to the satisfaction of staff.
Thank you for clarifying that, Daryl. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
I also had a question. You didn't hear me, Jim, because of the phones and everything. Thank you for your report, Daryl. Well done. I'm totally in favor of this, but I do have a question. I didn't read anywhere unless I read over top of the report. A question came to mind. In the storage units, there will be no hazardous waste in the storage units.
That's
Do we have a
correct.
provision for that? Yeah.
Storage.
Okay, thank you,
hazardous
Daryl.
waste.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Martin.
Okay. All right, thank you. So our next planning report here is about Crown Land acquisition, and Sonia, you're gonna introduce that?
Good morning, Mayor and members of council. The purpose of this report is to present for the consideration and requisite direction of council the request received from Betty Ann Enta and Steve Innes in regards to the abutting shoreline Crown Reserve. The recommendation is that council direct staff to advise the property owner and the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry that the township has no concerns with or objections to the proposed acquisition of the adjacent 66 feet of shoreline Crown Reserve. The municipality is in receipt of a request from Betty Ann Enta and Steve Innes regarding the proposed acquisition. It is described as 590 Fire Route 93A, Concession 8, Part Lot 9 in the Methuen Ward, having property roll number of 153101000910100. This would provide for a shoreline frontage of approximately 218 feet. MNRF requests be advised of any comments or concerns which council may have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sonia. And this is something we get time to time with regards to the frontage. So what's council's thoughts on this? We do have a
I'd move the recommendation.
Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Giroux that we go with the recommendation. Is there a seconder?
Mr. Mayor.
Are you seconding that, Larry? Sorry, I heard half.
Yes, second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Ellis. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, our next planning report here is with regards to Jack's Lake official plan and zoning bylaw amendments, and Montana and Mike Keene are going to introduce this. So I guess it's Montana that's going to do it. Go ahead, Montana, if you would like.
Sure. So this report is being brought forward to council to present a summary of the progress made on the official plan and zoning bylaw amendments for Jack Lake, as well as to provide options for council's consideration regarding the next steps in progressing the amendments. So as interim steps to the preparation of the amendments, a background report was brought forward for council's information on February 16th, 2021. Following the presentation of the findings of the background report, a public meeting was held on April 23rd, 2021, which provided an opportunity for the public to comment on the proposed amendments. Written comments were received until May 31st, 2021. Following the public meeting, FOTEN coordinated a meeting with staff from the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks to discuss their previous findings to designate Sharps Bay as at capacity. MOECP staff indicated that the science applied in the ministry's study is consistent with the ministry's methods used across the province. So in proceeding with the amendments, the following options are available for council's consideration. So the first option is to proceed with the official plan and zoning bylaw amendments as proposed, with consideration for the public comments received to date. This option would provide greater clarity within the official plan regarding the at capacity status of Sharps Bay and the recognition of Jack Lake as a cold water lake. Additionally, through the proposed zoning bylaw amendment, the development of on-land boathouses will be prohibited in a manner which would provide greater consideration for the environment. In this option, council would direct staff to bring forward a recommendation report, including revised copies of the proposed official plan and zoning bylaw amendments following the review of public comments. Based on the comment received, some changes will be proposed for consideration. Given the level of public comments received, there is a possibility that the official plan amendment may be appealed to the Ontario Land Tribunal, resulting in additional costs and time considerations for the township. The second option is to separate the proposed official plan and zoning bylaw amendments, independently addressing the prohibition of boathouses from the capacity of Sharps Bay. In this option, separate recommendation reports would be brought forward to council, including a revised copy of the proposed official plan amendment and the proposed zoning bylaw amendments following the review of public comments. Similar to option A, we anticipate that we would provide some changes based on the comments received to date. In this option, should the proposed amendments be appealed to the Ontario Land Tribunal, they will be dealt with separately, and it is likely that some of the amendments would not be appealed. This option would provide additional clarity within the official plan, as well as further protections through the zoning bylaw amendment. The third option is to abandon the proposed official plan amendments, allowing the proposed amendments to proceed through the County of Peterborough's new official plan. In 2017, the County of Peterborough initiated the process to develop a new official plan. And once it is in effect, it will function as the lower tier official plan for all 8 local municipalities, including the Township of HBM. In a staff report to Peterborough County staff dated April 21st, 2021, County staff provided an update on the timeline for the completion of adoption of the new official plan, and it was identified that it's anticipated to proceed to a public meeting for adoption in the first quarter of 2022. So as such, council can consider abandoning the current official plan amendment to designate Sharps Bay of Jack Lake as at capacity and to recognize Jack Lake as a cold water lake, allowing county staff to capture the proposed amendment through the new official plan. We note that the purpose of the proposed official plan amendment is to provide additional clarity within the township's official plan. In the absence of formal policies, we emphasize that Sharps Bay of Jack Lake still has been recognized as at capacity by the MOECP, and as such must still be recognized as at capacity through any planning decisions. Therefore, abandoning the proposed official plan amendment may further contribute to the lack of clarity regarding the capacity status of Sharps Bay. Given the options presented above, together with our review of the planning background, it is our opinion that option B or option 2 represents the preferred course of action moving forward and most closely aligns with the desired direction of the township. It is therefore our recommendation that, subject to council's approval, the official plan and zoning bylaw amendments be prepared in accordance with option 2 as described, with consideration for any comments received from the public to date.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mike, do you have anything to add?
I'll just add a quick next steps to all of that, just to summarize what we're hoping to obtain from council. So at this point, staff asked us to present these options to you. And we have reviewed the public comments. We've had a couple of meetings with the very interested stakeholders in your municipality. And so as Montana noted, there will be changes that we would be proposing to the original draft amendments based on that input. So as far as next steps go, we need to know from council how you want to proceed. Following that decision, regardless of if it's to continue to amend your own official plan or to abandon the process and allow the county to do it as part of their new official plan, we would still provide a recommendation report to you with the changes that we're proposing. Likely we would suggest one more public meeting so that it's completely transparent and public can see that. And then following that recommendation report and further public comment period, either you would be in a position to adopt amendments, or you'd be in a position to provide the information to the county for consideration with their own official plan update. So that's kind of where we would need to go, following direction from council on how you would like to proceed.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks, Montana. We spent a lot of time on this, and the whole thing here is we're trying to do it right and make sure everyone's heard. And as you can see by the screen here, there's a lot of interest in this. So my thoughts going through the report, I know you'd recommended B, but they're all so close together. They all are very similar. And I think the whole thing with after the last meeting with council was we wanted to separate these things to the OP and the zoning bylaw, separate them so we can deal with them individually, which you know, it looks like B and C do that. And then the other issue of boathouses was in there too. So, so as much as you're recommending B, I'm just wondering between B and C, if you could explain, you know, what the difference is there.
Certainly, and to you, Mayor Martin, I think the difference is really the ultimate approver. So when we definitely are on the path of recommending separation of the amendments, because it seems that the larger issue is with the capacity as opposed to the prohibition on boathouses, even though we have received some input on the boathouses that we will be suggesting some changes to what we propose to you. So in that sense, the second and the third option are very similar. The difference would be if you put the official plan amendment to the county level, then it would, and if it is ultimately appealed, it would be the county that would be responsible for defending the decisions. Versus with the township amendment, although the county, I would expect, would support us if we asked them to do so, primarily the appeal process would be between any appellant and the township. So it's really a process, and by the other interesting thing, by breaking it out, you know, by rather than making one approval, which was the first option, you could basically be adopting 4 different enacting bylaws. Essentially, you could be enacting an amendment for the boathouse and one for the capacity. So 2 separate official plan passings, and then there's the subtle changes to the zoning bylaw that would be fully the township's responsibility. So there would be, I suppose, three different bylaws, one way or the other, that is what we would recommend, so that if we're not able to solve the issues of the public, at least it would narrow the issues and allow aspects of your changes to come into effect. Primary difference is if you do proceed with your own amendments, they will be approved, subject to appeal, of course, I think way before the first term of 2022, which is the county's timeline for their official plan. And I'm not even sure how on track the county is with their plan right now. Like, that's their desired timeline, but as you know from your own planning experience, a wrench can throw a timeline off really quickly. So those are just some more information tips for council's consideration in that regard. But you're correct, Mayor Martin. The options are very similar, because ultimately we're trying to get to a point where the public has clarity. The lake is at capacity. So anyone coming in for a development application has to conform to that status. By putting policies in an official plan one way or another, it just provides anyone coming to your township with that clarity. They can open your policy documents and they can see it, rather than start down a path where they may somehow be unaware.
Yeah, so like talking to the county last week, it sounds like they feel they are on track for the first quarter of 22. So option C would let the county carry the official plan part of it, where option B would be us. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll open it up to council. It's just that's where I thought, you know, with how close we are and where they say they are, it to me made more sense to go with C, and let them make it a part of the official plan when they're doing once we go with them. So I'll open up to council, see what their thoughts are, and we'll go from there. Any questions or comments from council? I'm not seeing any questions. What's your thoughts on these options here? Councillor Webb?
Well, personally, I'd like to, I think, stay with option B, the recommendation of the planner. Just as Mike said, it kind of keeps things in our hands. And if we go with option C. I'm worried about if this gets off in the county, just kind of as Mike alluded to, if a wrench or something gets thrown into this, then, it's kind of really out of our control, Jim. So, I mean, if we stay with option B, it keeps it here within HBM and we can deal with it, as we see fit and in the timeline we see fit. So I would prefer option B.
Okay. Is there any other comments from council? Councillor Ellis?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I'm in agreement with Councillor Hart. I like the language in it and the control there. So that's my view as well. I'm in agreement with option B.
All right then. So I don't know whether Deputy Mayor Joe has anything or Mr. Pomeroy.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Joe.
I've been trying to get in here. I'm having a little difficulty. Yeah, I respect both B and C. For me, we know how much luck we've had and success in the past when it comes to an official plan amendment. Hasn't been very successful, and we've been going on here for a number of years. We don't even have one that's up to date because it's been taken to the board, and I really don't. As much as I like B and C both, I would prefer C myself for reasons. And our official plan, even though it would go through the Peterborough County, is still ours, but they would be handling it. That's all. I do respect both, but as a preference, I like C. But anyway, we'll see where it goes. Thank you, Mayor Martin.
All right, Bob, go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, a question to our planning consultant, Mike or Montana. I wonder if you could clarify for council if there's any differences in the appeal process. Should we go with the county official plan versus working this process ourselves?
Certainly, and through you, Mayor Martin, the Ontario Land Tribunal process for appeal would be the same. What option C guarantees is that you would not be providing a single motion as you move forward. You would address some type of recommendation to county so that they can carry that forward, and they would carry the bag, so to speak, in bringing those policies forward in their new official plan. So they would certainly rely on the information you've done. So certainly nothing has gone to waste, and we have some great public input to consider. The difference would be if the county does the approval of their own document, they are obviously the carrier of any appeals that come in, and they may look to the township for support. Versus the other way around. On option 2, we'll be the main carriers. We as in you will be the main carriers as the approval authority. Even though the county is the approval authority, they're going to obviously look to the township to support its own documents. So I feel the county in the option 2 would be more of a supportive role at an appeal, whereas in option 3, they would lead the appeal. So it does change the order of events, even though the outcome should be identical or at least very similar. I hope that answers what you were looking for, Bob.
Yeah,
I think so. Thank you.
Okay. All right then. So, Councillor Pomeroy, go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. I think I'm kind of swaying for option C here too, because it's county and we're involved with the county for this change. And I know we've been in some hot water here on these other things here and holding up on our official plan and so on and so on and so on. So it's costing us, our municipality many dollars, where maybe they have the expertise at the county to maybe handle this stuff. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Okay. And that's where I was coming from as far as the duplication here if the county just takes it on and finishes up the processes. My main concern is that we separate the two of them and we deal with them separately. One just eliminates one piece of the process. But go ahead, Councillor Ellis.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to thank Bob and Mike Keenan for clarity. I was leaning basically to the B option, but listening to Mike and through their questions from Bob, I now believe the same as probably Councillor Pomeroy and Deputy Mayor Joe. So I'm ready to make a motion here that we approve option C as the recommendation from our planner.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Ellis. I have a motion here for option C. Is there a seconder for that? Seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. Questions? Councillor Webb, go ahead.
The comment, I understand, I guess, in the end here, we're trying to save money, or I guess we're trying to save money is the end of this, but I'm just not a big fan of handing our autonomy over to the county in terms of making decisions like this. I think we've been burned by this in the past, and I think it could come back to bite us, you know where again. So I would rather keep this decision, but I respect the decision of council.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, we've already handed it over to the county. It's just going through the final steps, but okay, thank you, Councillor Webb. With that, is there any other questions or comments? There's a motion on the floor and a seconder. And my computer's going wonky here. So all in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Thank you, Mike and Montana. And we look forward to getting this through. Just one question before you go there is the part about the boathouse. How does that process work now with the zoning side of it?
So we could still issue the prohibition in the bylaw related to boathouses. And, you know, as these things go, there's probably 8 different ways you could spin it. You could, and maybe I should have said this before the motion came in, sorry for not interrupting. You could actually allow the official plan amendment for the boathouses and the zoning bylaw that relates to that separate from the at capacity issue. So I don't mean to cause confusion. So the way I would understand your motion now is that we would still bring a recommendation report forward to you that outlines the direction to the county when they update their official plan. So filling them in on the process that we've gone through and the general direction related to both at capacity and boathouses, and the zoning bylaw would still rest with yourselves and could essentially be passed right away, because the zoning changes aren't really at conflict with your current official plan. They're to provide the more direct, they really relate directly to the boathouse prohibitions. So effectively, you could do that without really interfering with your official plan. It's, again, the official plan amendment was more for clarity.
Okay, all right, thank you. So Bob, go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. So just to clarify and to follow up Mike's comments, thanks, Mike. So just to clarify for council, so the issues are still separated based on the motion that was carried, and the county will seek direction from council as to what's to be incorporated in the official plan document. So we still control that process and we can determine what we are putting in that document. So that process still needs to happen. And Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that's the way I'm seeing it.
Through you, Mayor Martin, I agree completely with the CAO. And again, I think our recommendation report will still be very valuable to council for getting that clarity and reviewing the comments that have been received so that you've got some good direction to move forward with this still.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, then. Well, thank you. And we will move on here. We have a heavy day ahead of us. So thanks a lot, Mike, and thanks, Montana. With that, I'll move into delegations. And we have one delegation scheduled today, and that's Peterborough Humane Society and Sean Maury. Welcome, Sean.
Good morning, Your Worship, members and council, staff, and the community at large. Thanks for having me today. I truly appreciate the time. I know it's a busy calendar ahead of you, so I will try to be brief, but I wanted to speak on behalf of the Peterborough Humane Society and our request for seeking consideration and support in the 2022 budget for an investment of $50,000 towards our animal care center, but also animal care in the community at large. Just a quick summary about the Peterborough Humane Society for everyone on the call here. So we've been the voice for animal wellness and animal welfare for the last 80 years here within Peterborough County, and supported with through onboarding, boarding, impound, animal control services within our current center here at 385 Lansdowne Street East for the last 56 years. So the building itself is, or sorry, the last 65 years. It was built in 1956. We're in the process of building a new center, which is going to be located on Technology Drive, kind of the south corner of Peterborough. And what we're doing is we're really trying to, or not trying, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be changing the way that animal wellness and animal welfare will be received within the province of Ontario through this new center. So what we are requesting, or what I'm requesting from council today is, as I said, consideration and support through the 2022 budget for an investment in animal care in the tune of $50,000 to help support this build and help support animal wellness for the future of the township. Reasons why I feel is important to bring forward is, is a number of things, but one being a very important factor is the fact that, animals play such a critical role in our lives. And we've seen it more so now more than ever over the last 16 months with regards to the pandemic and the fact of the human-animal bond and the wellness that's been provided throughout that. As we also know, we're seeing a major growth in our communities, and Havelock-Belmont-Methuen is no different. We're seeing growth in both permanent as well as seasonal residents within it, and also what comes with that is an increase in the demand with animals as well within your township. They play a very special part in our lives, and we need to make the change now for animal wellness so that we can support that for the future and for our future generations. What it's going to do is we're going to be able to offer the community with basically a safer option, right? Safer options for community support. One major piece of it, obviously, is through our accessible spay-neuter clinic. So we'll be able to provide heavily subsidized spay-neuter services, which is going to assist with reducing pet overpopulation within the township, which also supports obviously colonies of cats, rescue issues, and so on and so forth that do creep up. We'll be able to work and support with local farmers to work on a working cat program where we can do a trap, neuter, release type program associated with it. And those are one of many services that we'll be able to provide throughout this new build. And I think the most important piece to it is the economic benefit that's associated with it. So not only are we going to make the community safer, but we're also going to be increasing jobs within the county and obviously within Havelock-Belmont-Methuen and that opportunity within it. So our workforce currently, we have 20 employees here at the Peterborough Humane Society, but once we get up and fully running within the new center, we will more than double that in full-time capacity within the center. So it's going to mean more opportunities for growth and expansion as well for the animals. It's going to be better wellness opportunities, better boarding opportunity, better boarding services, better care. As you know, animal wellness has changed exponentially in 65 years, and it's time to make the change to support them and support our future generations as we go along. And lastly, if I may, it's going to be a great opportunity to provide additional services to our community. So not only, like I said, heavily subsidized spay-neuter, we also have the Provincial Dog Rehabilitation Center that's going to be run by our friends from the Ontario SPCA. That's where folks who have animals who maybe have some behavioral issues, having the opportunity to work with behavioralists on site, but also those that are aging as well, being able to provide rehab services, both therapeutical and physical therapy to support that. And I know that is going to be a major piece to it. We're also going to be able to provide additional services and programs in humane education to assist those in school kids with regards to understanding the importance of human-animal bond, and also the way that we can educate our communities for better outcomes for pets for the future. And lastly, the ability to subsidize and support additional services like rabies clinics, microchip clinics, licensing programs, and all of those good things that we will definitely need in the near future without question. My hope is that we can work together, collaborate, and provide services to the township to assist us and assist you and the residents of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen for a long future. And that's why I'm here today to ask for that support.
All right. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, it's one of those things. I think several months ago you were at the county council with your presentation, and it was suggested there that it come to the lower tiers, that it wasn't really a upper tier thing to deal with, and it's a huge ask here. Congratulations on where you're at with it. It is something that would have to go through our budget process to consider, but some of the things with the lower tier that come into effect is we do have a vet in our community that some of these services would overlap, so that would have to be some of the consideration that council would have to take in. But that being said, there might be a way somehow to help you, whether it's advertising that, through our website and things like that. We could probably do something in the near future to, let people know that you are looking for donations, and we could help that way. But as far as this $50,000, that would probably would have to come through our budget process. And, that's what I would suggest to council, that we recommend that this be part of the budget and discussions. But I'll open it up to council and get their thoughts. So is there any questions or comments from council? I'm not seeing any. Deputy Mayor Drow, I see you unmuted.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for your report. Peterborough Humane Society is doing a wonderful job. Kudos to everybody involved in this process. It's a big undertaking, and we will support in any way we can. And so I just wanted to say thank you for your presentation.
Okay,
Through Mr. Mayor, thank you, Deputy Mayor Drow. I truly appreciate that. And if I may, Mr. Mayor Martin, just with regards to the comment with regards to your local vets, we're not looking to augment or take away from that whatsoever. Our goal and expectation is that we will work with the vets and support that. So a lot of our accessible spay-neuter services that we would offer and support is going to be for those that don't necessarily have the means to provide that support through their local vet community, but it's also a gateway for long-term support within that vet community. So a lot of the roadblocks associated with overall pet health is that start point, which is spay neuter. And if we can control pet overpopulation and get the capacity of animals to a nice spot, it'll provide long-term health benefits, not only for the animals within the township, but also allow the vets to service more individuals as they see fit.
Well, thank you. That's good information. And like I say, I don't think there's anyone out there hasn't been watching what's going on with the Humane Society. And yeah, it's kind of exciting news for the community to see how big of an operation you're looking at there. So is there any other comments from council? With that, I'll look for a motion to receive the delegation. If there's no, moved by Councillor Webb and seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you.
Aye.
We will, thank you, Dave. With that, we will put this forward to, maybe I could get a motion here from council that that this be referred to budget discussions, and that way it won't get lost. Is there anybody who would like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Ellis and seconded by Councillor Webb. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Thank you, Sean, and we'll look into that and we'll do what we can do, like Deputy Mayor Giroux said, and in the meantime, to try and get keep it out in the forefront and people can help you without waiting that long. So I know you're always looking for help. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, members of council. Much appreciated.
Okay, take care. So with that, we have several items here for staff reports for information. We have incident summaries from Chief Haynes for March, April, and May. Is there anybody would like to have had any questions with regards to that? Okay, the building bylaw enforcement activities there. Report from CBO Smallwood. Any questions or comments there?
I'd like to comment on that, Mayor Martin.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to thank John for this report. This report is a little different than, at least I think it's different than what we're used to. There's a lot of information in here and it was much appreciated. It kind of gives you an in-depth of where actually in the municipality that we are talking about and gives you, it identifies the properties more or less. That's just my comment. And they certainly have been out and been very busy. So thank you for the report, John. Thank you, Mayor Martin.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Giroux. And that was one of my comments for today was looking at how busy we are with bylaw enforcement. I think when we get to budget time, I think it's something we're going to have to look at. And I don't know what John's thoughts are, but in the summer months, our bylaw enforcement is so busy that I think we're going to have to look at some other options as far as taking care of everything that's out there. I don't know what your thoughts are, John, but that's something for the future as far as when we do get into budget discussions, that summertime bylaw enforcement is challenging with what we're doing right now to try and get to all of them. You're doing really well with what we have, but I'll open it up to council and Councillor Ellis and then Councillor Webb.
Yeah, just briefly, I'd like to echo Deputy Mayor Giroux's comments. The reports, when you get them as this report is, with the details in it, it's great. It's one thing to throw a report out and just have dates and numbers. Really doesn't tell you anything, but that report is great, I think. Kudos to that department. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Webb?
Yeah, just kind of along the same lines. Very good report. What I like the most is the number of issues that have been closed. You guys are doing a very good job of closing these off. Quite often, I know we open these cases and they drag on, but I'm looking at about an 80 to 90% closure rate of what we've got out there. So John and Mike, the whole building bylaw department, thank you very much and keep it up.
Okay, Councillor Pomeroy, go ahead.
Still muted, Barry.
There you go. Oh, you went back. There you go.
Oh, geez. I have to pound on it. Oh, thanks, John. A great report as everyone has iterated. And I see we're having a problem with sea containers. Seems to be a big one on the list, but I'm very, very pleased with your report and how it's laid out, and just congratulations from me and the rest of council.
Okay. All right then. So, and then the next one we had was Wendelin, the treasurer, with general finance department updates. Is there any questions with regards to that? And then finally, Bob had his closed session meeting summary. So if there's no questions or comments, I'll look for a motion to receive them all the staff reports for information, moved by Councillor Webb. And a seconder. Councillor Ellis. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Thank you. Next, we'll move into staff reports with follow-up action.
I think Barry's got a question there.
Barry, you had something?
Yeah, I had one on Wetlands report here. It's in the yellow. So damn small, I can hardly read it, but it's the arena project. And why was it highlighted wetland in yellow?
The grant was not approved at budget time. So we were hoping that it was going to be approved. So once it got approved, we took a resolution to council to get the 5 years of the township's portion set aside.
Okay, and the other one that's highlighted in yellow.
We have the stoplights and Round Lake Road. And those came in and were approved by council after the budget process. So I've just highlighted them to show council that they will be completed this year and where they're coming from.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right then, so we're moved into reports with follow-up. So the first one there is with regards to asphalt on Sawmill Bay Road, Old Norwood Road, and William Street turnaround. Peter, welcome.
Yes, good morning, Mayor Martin and members of council. My report this morning here is to seek council's approval for the new Everlast asphalt to be used on Sawmill Bay Road, Old Norwood Road, and the Williams turnaround.
Okay, so I did reach out to Peter yesterday with regards to the not having any costing in there to see what we'd be looking at. The way I understood it was Round Lake Road was going to be the trial project, and we would carry on with the old method until we see how it works out, because there is going to be quite a difference in cost with this, and some of them offset the others with regards to it might last longer. It looks like it's 3 to 4 years. It lasts 3 to 4 years longer, hopefully. But that being said, it's hard to pass the recommendation without seeing the cost. Now, he did send out an email yesterday. Do you have a total of what the extra cost would be then, Peter?
Through you, Mayor Martin, I do have an example here for Sawmill Bay Road. The additional cost, now that we have received the tenders through the Peterborough County for the surface treatment. So Sawmill Bay Road, using the Everlast, going against the tender for surface treatment for one of the contractors would be an additional $8,260. And the Everlast asphalt going against the other contractor through the county tender would be less than the surface treatment by 2030. So and again, it does change. The surface treatment costs do change. The Everlast asphalt remains the same per meter squared. The surface treatment does change due to the length of the job and the mobilization and demobilization. But with the Sawmill Bay Road as an example, an estimate per kilometer for surface treatment is approximately 40,000 or just under 40,000, and a lifespan of 6 years, according to our roads needs study. The Everlast asphalt, like you said, Mayor Martin, is approximately 3 to 4 years longer. So in the case of Sawmill Bay Road for $8,260, and we're going to receive 3 to 4 more years. I think it's a great recommendation, but I'll let council have questions or comments.
Okay, yeah, so I'll open it up to council. It's something that wasn't budgeted for, so we're usually pretty sticky on those things. I know Round Lake Road, we were trying something there, but I'm not sure about the rest of it, because it'd be nice to see how it stands up after a winter. But Deputy Mayor Giroux and then Councillor Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. Just a couple of questions, Peter, to get this clarified in my head. I know we've spoke before on the old or on Round Lake Road on how this new pavement Everlast works. I did go down to Marmora and drive over that road. I guess one of my questions is through you. I understand that we have to, our preparation before we put the Everlast down has to be very smooth. We don't want any wrinkles or bumps in it. Is that correct?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. Yes, the preparation, the road base is critical with the new Everlast asphalt because it is put down using an asphalt spreader. So if there is any deteriorations in the road surface before it's put down, it does affect the thickness of the asphalt that is spread.
Okay, and just to comment on Mayor Martin's, we didn't actually talk about this in budget time. I don't think it was on the table then, or it might have got talked about, but anyway, we didn't. So we do have to take that into consideration. The other thing is, if we were not to do it now and decided to do it later, I can only assume that there would be an extra cost. Am I assuming right, Peter?
Through you, Mayor Martin, I didn't, my internet was unstable at that. I didn't understand the question or get it all.
I'll say this again. If we don't do it now, when we do, let's say Sawmill Bay Road, and we go ahead and put the Everlast down at the same time that it's being prepared, we're doing the road. If we decided that this is a good project or a product to the point where we wanted to go back and do it a year later, I can only assume it's going to be, it would cost us more money a year after we've originally done fixed Sawmill Bay Road. Am I correct in thinking that?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. So my understanding of the question, Deputy Mayor Giroux, is that to go put the double layer surface treatment down on Sawmill Bay Road and then come back the following year with the Everlast new asphalt if we desire. Was that the question?
Yes. Yes, that's the question, and it would cost more money later.
Yes, it definitely would cost more money later, Deputy Mayor Giroux. Yes, this is the time to proceed if we are going to go with the new Everlast asphalt, or we would like to use the life expectancy of the double surface treatment to its full life expectancy and get our full value out of that before we come back with another surface coat. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that, Peter. Mayor Martin, if I could have one more question to Wendland.
Okay.
Wendland, if council decided to proceed and we didn't go through the budget process, where would the money come from?
Sawmill Bay Road, it's coming from the federal gas tax right now. So it just would flow through the federal gas tax.
Thank you. Thanks, Mayor Martin. That's my questions.
Okay, Councillor Ellis, you had a question?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Pete, the road in Marmora, how many years has that been done?
Through you, Mayor Martin, to Councillor Ellis, it was just done this year, this early summer. It was just put down this summer. I did go and look at one in Madoc that has been down for 4 years, I believe, it was in place for, and there still was not a mark, not a patch, not a pothole, anything on that road surface.
Well,
if I could say something, Jim, and I don't.
Okay, I'll just let Councillor Ellis finish and then I'll go to you, Dave.
Okay.
Okay, again, through you, Mr. Mayor. I think we need to listen to our Public Works manager here. He's done due diligence. He's went through this thing forward and backward. He wouldn't be recommending what he's recommending if he wasn't feeling real positive on this process. And to me, not to use it and put down the products that we've been doing and only end up in 6 months patching and anyway, eventually having to redo the road again. I just think that, to be honest, I just think this is a no-brainer. We need to look and listen to Peter here. Again, he wouldn't be recommending this if he didn't feel it was the best for our municipality cost-wise. And so that's how I feel about it.
Okay. All right. So I'll Deputy Mayor Giroux, you go ahead and then I'll get a motion and then we'll speak to the motion. So go ahead, Deputy Mayor Giroux, with your question.
My apologies for cutting in, and just a comment. Actually, I drove over that road in Madoc. I didn't mention that in my first go around, and it is a great road, and I didn't realize it had been down that long. So I didn't make a special trip down there to do it, but I was there, and I didn't realize till after. So thank you.
So, okay, Councillor Pomeroy, go ahead, and then we'll get a motion here.
Yeah, well, through you, Mr. Mayor, I have to agree with Councillor Ellis and Deputy Mayor Giroux. At least I think Deputy Mayor Giroux is kind of in favor of this. Peter's done research. He's been on site at 2 different places. And one in Madoc's been down for 4 years at least, and it hasn't got a ripple in it. I know myself, I talked to the people that did this at Good Roads Convention, 3 years ago, I guess, and he had told me then and had videos of the job in Madoc. I have to go along with Councillor Ellis. This is kind of a no-brainer. If we got the money, we spend it, on other things. Roads are very, very important. If you can get another 4 or 5 years, it says 3 to 4, but if you can get another 4 years out of it, you're going to be in pocket. So I'm like Councillor Ellis said, it's a no-brainer. I would make a motion that we go with Peter's recommendation.
Okay, so Councillor Pomeroy has moved the recommendation. I'll look for a seconder to that.
Second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Ellis is seconding the recommendation. Any comments to the motion or questions with the motion? I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
That's carried, Peter. So we can get moving on that.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Our next report for follow-up action is the drinking water quality management standard. Gwendolyn?
Yeah, so this is just a follow-up resolution because this got missed on the 2021 capital projects for the drinking water facilities. It's a report that has to be done by legislation by the province and is done every so often. So Aqua has gone ahead to make sure that we're in compliance, but we just need a resolution because it's coming from a reserve.
Right. What's council's thoughts? It's something that has to be done, so I'll look for a mover. Councillor Pomeroy? Sorry, moved by Councillor Pomeroy, and Deputy Mayor Giroux, were you seconding that?
I did.
Okay. Any questions to the motion? I'll call the question. All in favor? And that's carried.
Aye.
Thank
you. So next, with regards to the relief funding here that was put out there, Bob?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. The Economic Development Committee recently met and has received 5 applications from the COVID Relief Fund. Businesses and service clubs have submitted. So the Economic Development Committee is recommending that these 5 applications be approved by council.
Thank you. And just for council's, there is $15,000 budgeted. This was the first of probably many, but hopefully it helps these people out. It's not a lot, but it's something that should help them. It's a little help anyways. So, Councillor Webb, did you have anything to add to that through the Economic Development Committee?
No, not really, Jim, but I'll make the motion that we approve the recommendation.
All right, then it's moved by Councillor Webb that we go with this recommendation. Do I have a seconder?
Second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Seconded by Councillor Ellis. Questions or comments? All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. The next is a report of surplus property on the 7th line south. Bob?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. Staff is continuing the process of cataloging properties that may be declared surplus and potentially can be sold. So this is the next property on our list, and we're suggesting to council that this one be offered up for sale.
All right, thank you. Yeah, it looks like a nice piece of property. Is there any questions or comments from council? Would somebody like to make a motion? Councillor Ellis?
Motion to approve the recommendation from staff, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Pomeroy? Questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you.
Aye.
Dave, bit of a delay there, but anyway, I think it is, unless it's my computer, but anyways, we'll deal with that as we move through. The next here is a donation to the Lions Club with regards to their parade. It was held last week and we did a poll over the internet, and this is just to finish it up. Bob, is that?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. So Lions Club was in discussion with a few members of council after the last council meeting. So due to the time-sensitive nature of that item, it was dealt with before this council meeting. So we are here to confirm the donation and the participation of the fire department.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Ellis?
Yes, and just a comment, I'd like to, I was one of the councillors that was getting the mail, trying to get some support for them. And I'd just like to thank staff for jumping on board such short notice and doing what they could to help support them. They're struggling, and your help was duly noted.
So you moved that, Larry?
And I'll move that motion through you, Mr. Mayor.
Then. Thank you. And Councillor Webb, you're seconding that? Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Next, we have an animal control bylaw. Bob, if you'd like to speak to that.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. There has been discussion at previous council meetings through delegations that we bring forward a cat control bylaw. So this bylaw consolidates 3 current existing animal control bylaws, dog control and exotic pets, and also adds in a 4th bylaw regarding cat control. So this bylaw consolidates, it does 2 things. It consolidates 4 bylaws into one, where all animal control issues are dealt with, and also adds in the cat control items. So includes, very similar to dog control, there's licensing, leashing involved, stoop and scoop, and it also deals with the notion of a rescue operation. So rescue operations in this bylaw will be isolated to the rural area in the township ward and will be treated in the definition of kennels as they exist in the dog bylaw and in the zoning bylaw. That provision, any existing rescue operations will be grandfathered for 1 year as per the legal parameters that exist, and within 1 year they must be moved.
Thank you, Bob. And like the other reports, a lot of work went into this, and it looks like it's covered everything. It's something we've been trying to get done. So, Councillor Pomeroy?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve this bylaw.
All right, so it's moved by Councillor Pomeroy that we approve the bylaw, and seconded by Councillor Webb. Questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you, Bob. With that, we don't have any action items in correspondence today. We do have one item listed there, so I would look for a motion to, it is with regard to the internet and our letter that we put out to EORN. So this is a real hot thing that is really needed everywhere, and it's nice to see that the governments are working together here to try and make something happen, because Eastern Ontario is in really bad shape, as we all know. And we experience whenever we have these meetings that internet isn't the best here, but we're getting by. So I look for a motion to receive the correspondence that we have received. Somebody want to move by Councillor Webb, seconded by Councillor Ellis. Any questions or comments around that? All in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. Thank you, Dave. Next, we're going to move into committee liaison reports, and give me a second here to catch up. But Councillor Webb, you have several meetings you had. Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, just quickly, Matheson property. We're moving along nicely. Ryan, the manager of Parks and Rec, is just completing the GPS markings to get the boundaries of the property, and hopefully soon we'll be finalizing a trail system in there that we can start redoing. Also, the committee is starting to look at some of the signage that we're going to have for the property in terms of the history of the Matheson property and the history of the Matheson family and Havelock and whatnot. So we're coming along nicely. Hopefully in about another month or so, I should have more to report on that. Economic development. We've had a meeting last month. We're looking at a new logo, kind of, I'm hesitant to use the word branding strategy because it encompasses quite a bit, but we looked at that, and we're also re-examining the CIP that we've had here in town in terms of a funding arrangement available to local businesses to fix up their storefronts. So, and at this moment, it's only applicable to businesses within the town. So we're looking at possibly expanding that to businesses with outside the town, but overall, just having an overall look at the CIP itself in terms of how we could tweak it and maybe make it a little bit better. And we are also examining the MDB tourism strategy that was completed for the township in 2019. There are a number of recommendations in there in terms of things that we could do to improve and draw tourism to the town. So we've been, I along with staff, the deputy clerk, have been working through that, and hopefully in the next, hopefully by our next council meeting, I'll have a report to bring through. Basically what we're doing is going through it. There's a number of recommendations in terms of things that council could do to improve the tourism in this area. And so what we've done is we've identified the recommendations and identified a number of them that we as council are already working on. So we will let council know about that, and then possibly ones that we're not working on that in the future we could look at working on. So a lot of reports, and hopefully, as I said, we'll have all that ready for you in the August meeting. So.
Okay, thank you. So we do have 3 sets of minutes there from the May, October, and March meetings. I was going to get a motion to receive those minutes.
Big Bear's got a question.
Moved by Councillor Pomeroy and seconded by Deputy Mayor Giroux.
What's the question?
Go ahead.
Yes, Councillor Webb, through Mr. Mayor, Councillor Webb. Can we, or can the committee for the Matheson property, can they start in the middle and work both ways? We know where the property lines there are, or are there. And just to get a good start at it this year, excuse me, even if they went from behind the arena over to the dam and up on the hill there and did that for a start. It's for to leave the whole thing just looking for property lines. We know we can't go wrong if we start in the middle and go with both ways. So I would kind of like to see us get a shot at this summer for to proceed as much as you can. You got a good grant there, so it would be beneficial to get it started.
Well, I appreciate the suggestion, Councillor Pomeroy, and we're looking at doing just that. There will be work, construction work done in the Matheson property before the end of this summer. That is my word to council. So we're on top of this. And like I said, we're just trying to fine tune it because we don't want to get the cart in front of the horse here and do something where we have to go back and correct it. So we're moving as fast as we can, but diligently. So, and just one other thing I forgot to let everyone know, the last meeting as well, because this has been a topic for council. We had Trevor Putner from the ATV club come, and he met with us in terms of working with the committee and working with their club in terms of the prohibition that we have on ATVs and motorized vehicles within the Matheson property. So hopefully we found some common ground there and some new allies to try and put this problem to bed, or at least make it a little quieter than it is now. So.
Okay, thanks, Art.
No problem.
Okay then. Thank you, Art, for all the work that's going into there. Next, we had Deputy Mayor Giroux he's got minutes there from the Eastern Trails Alliance. And also we have the County Council report in there too, if he wants to add anything to that. But Deputy Mayor Giroux, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. I don't have my notes with me for council. I will take any questions from the Eastern Ontario Trails Alliance minutes if anyone has any, and I don't have my notes from our last council meeting. I could just touch on North Gorth as a proposal to have a
ATV bylaw.
Temporary or an ATV bylaw for county roads as a pilot project. The recommendations come back from staff that there was too many roads that were unsafe at this time, and we're going to wait until the transportation master plan is complete before we open or make a decision on the roads. I can tell you that I supported staff's decision, but it was a hard decision for me because I'm always supporting the use of ATVs, but it has to be in the public interest, and safety is paramount. So that's the way I voted the way I did. Other than that, Mayor Martin, you might be able to touch base on, fill council in on some of the other things that were dealt with at county council, because I don't have my notes.
Okay, thank you. So we do have the minutes from the EOTA meeting on May 13th, if you wanted to move them, Dave. And
yes, I would. I'd like to move those minutes, please.
Okay, and I'll look for a seconder to that. If somebody would like to second it.
Second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Seconded by Councillor Ellis. Any questions around that? Hearing none, all in favor? And that's carried.
Aye.
So, and then with regards to my update, yeah, several Zoom meetings. I think it's going to take a little bit of a break for this month. I'm hoping, but there's already a few scheduled this week. But as far as I did attend one last week with George Cuff there with the mayors, and he's the one that writes the articles in the municipal world, and he was really good. There was a lot to learn there. There was about 60 mayors on there, and it was just giving an update on process and how we do things. And the one thing that he said to all of us is if we have a tendency to be working with our public works and our building inspectors and our fire chiefs and dealing with them one-on-one, he told us that we should resign and we should be applying for the admin job, because that's what our job is. We're there to govern. We're not there to manage that's our CAO's job. And if you're not happy with that, that's who you deal with. So it was kind of it led to a lot of discussion, and but it was really well done and really well put together. So I really enjoyed it. But other than that, county council meeting, Deputy Mayor Giroux did touch on the ATV bylaw for North Kawartha that was put off to the Transportation Master Plan. I am on that committee, and it is a big part of the discussion, and it'll probably even come back to us as far as how we're dealing with things. But other than that, as far as specific to Havelock-Belmont-Methuen, there wasn't a lot of items there that would affect us. We had some discussion about the flag raising and all these different things that you can raise and lower the flag for. Who should deal with that? It did go back to the warden's discretion on those things. We had 3 recorded votes in this meeting, so it tells you how everything's being dealt with. Everybody's got their own opinions, and it did get a little ornery sometimes. But anyways, the on second dwellings and those types of things, and it was good discussion, and we do have good representation from the agricultural community on county council. We have 2 of them there that are really heavily involved, and there'll be more coming forward with regard to that. But that discussion was more for Autonomy South Monaghan. And then us, recycling was a big topic around boat wrap and feed bags and bale wrap. We're not doing a good enough job on taking care of that stuff. So there's going to be some more research done in that and try and come up with a better plan to deal with that stuff, because it's a huge landfill problem, because it is garbage. So, and as you know, in our area, it's more boats than bales. But when you put it all together, it takes a lot of space in the landfill. So hopefully that gets looked after. And we get things going. But as far as the meeting with Dave Smith, there wasn't too much there. There was discussion on the modernization grant that we did receive, and the reason they put the number out there as a number for the whole of the county is to help with the RFP process. So there's not a specific number for each municipality. When you go and put something out there and they know exactly what you received, it makes it a little difficult to get a real good bid on it, because they know what you got. So that's why they kept it as a lump sum there for the county, and we'll deal with our portion when the RFP goes out. So that'll be good for us as far as technology and things like that to help us do a better job. And as Larry says all the time, efficiencies, this is going to help. So anyways, yeah, so that's all I had with this part of it.
Dave? I have a comment.
Okay.
Mayor Martin,
Yeah.
through you to the council and staff, kudos to council and staff. County council in their report gave a report that our new bylaw that we've passed, the OPP, was it was the only bylaw in Peterborough County that they really maybe not recognized, that's not the word, but they liked it. They liked that bylaw. They felt that it was done properly. So kudos to staff and council for working on this and bringing out it's nice to get recognized when we do something right. So The other quick thing on EOT I might have mentioned and off-road vehicles is I have had 2 calls in the last 24 hours, I guess, in regards to the line that the trail that runs from Lindsay to I think is up west. I'm not sure where, but it's quite a stretch, and we've been asked to. EOT has been asked to have some input in that to maybe start to manage and maintain that trail. But that's a ways down the road yet, but I thought that was worth a mention. Thank you, Mayor Martin.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Okay, then, so Bob, do you need a motion to receive all the reports then, or we did them kind of individually there? Is that all right, or do you want one to receive everything all together?
We'll take the motion, Mayor Martin, to receive all the reports. Thank you.
Okay, all right, so I'll get a mover for that to receive the liaison reports. Moved by Councillor Webb, seconder. Councillor Pomeroy, all in favor? And that's carried. Okay, so next we'll move into new business. And Councillor Pomeroy, you had 2 or 3 items there that you want to brought forward.
Yeah, the first one being the railway crossings of Highway 7 and the one at Concession Street. They're very unsafe. You know, the big hole that's on number 7 there, it's terrible. And people are saying they're going to take the front end out of their car at 30 and 7. I know Peter has talked to the foreman or whoever looks after the yard down here, but I think that CP should be made well aware of, with something from council, that, you know, they are liable in this. It is an unsafe crossing, both of them. And it has to be addressed, because you could have an accident, you know, with anybody flying up the highway there on 7. Is that big hole there. If you don't know where it is, my gosh, you're upset.
If you made a motion there, Barry, that we direct Peter to, it might give him a little more teeth, I guess, when he's talking to them, that council wants it looked at. If we had a motion from council to look at those 2 spots.
Well, he's already looked at those 2 spots. I would like something to come from council to go to CP, because Peter can only do so much on this end, and we're gonna have to do something on our end to notify CP that it's a safety problem.
Okay, so go ahead, Deputy Mayor Giroux.
I would like to make a motion to direct staff to write a letter to our MP, Miriam Monsaf. She's the federal side of this, and have her deal with the safety issue on both crossings, and she would get a hold of the proper people at CP.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor, moved by Deputy Mayor Giroux, that we direct MPP Monsaf to look into this for us. Do I have a seconder?
Yeah.
Seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. Any questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, thank you. Next, water well levels.
Yeah, I would like an update on the levels of our wells, because, as you know, we've kind of had a drought here, so.
Okay.
Peter, I think, has the information on that.
Does he have the information? If he doesn't, he can bring it to the next meeting. If he's talked to you already, you could tell us about it, Barry.
Through you, Mayor Martin, to Councillor Pomeroy, I followed up here. Actually, on wells 1 and 4 are the only wells that have monitors on them. And since April, the wells are down approximately 0.4 of a meter, less than half a meter. So Aqua is on alert, and they will notify staff if there's any issue. But Right now, they are satisfied with the levels in the wells 1 and 4.
Hopefully this weekend.
Thanks,
So,
Peter.
Okay, and next we have the dry hydrants there then.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up is, you know, that we're in a drought situation and we've talked a lot about dry hydrants and I don't know how many we have. Ray can answer that. And I know we can get water at the 6th line, but there should be a few more, I imagine, throughout the township. So Ray?
Through you, Mayor Martin. We have 2 of them. One is on the 6th line, just up from the transfer station there. The other one has been removed. It was on the Deer River Bridge that they're replacing. But we can still draft water with a pump from there.
Okay.
So
No, the reason I say that is because we shuttle water from, you know, the hydrant out to fires and treated water. And with our wells, you know, in the situation they are, if we can draft water out in the township for any fires, it would be an asset.
And we have done that, Barry.
Thanks, Barry.
Okay, Councillor Ellis, go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, just a quick question to Ray. Because we have that hydrant pulled, would there be another location that we could utilize that until such time that it goes back there?
I did talk to one of the engineers. I can't remember his name. That was way back last year when they were talking about doing the bridge, and they were planning to put the dry hydrant back on to the new bridge.
But there'll be quite a time period there before that's completed. I was wondering.
Yeah, and we do have big pumps that we can draft the water right from the river there still.
Yeah, but is
and
there
other ponds, rivers, lakes, wherever.
Okay, so there's not another location that you could possibly utilize the dry hydrant?
Yeah, we could, but there's a lot of paperwork to go with that.
Okay, that's good. Just a thought. Yep.
Yeah, so the future, you know, we will make sure that it goes back onto that bridge. I think the concern with them is they're mainly ideal in the winter time, so you don't have to break ice to get to the water, but in the summer, there's lots of water around and it's just, it's not a big deal. But I know in the winter, we were concerned, like there was talk of, and we probably should have dealt with it when the North River Bridge was being done. We had talked about putting one there and we had talked about one at Twin Lakes. So anyways, it might be something to look at here. I know we had some money in the budget for more of them years ago, and I don't know if it's still in there, but they are a good thing to have around the community. And, you know, I think like Councillor Pomeroy said, as far as drawing it from the ponds right now, while you can, instead of using the treated water, I'm sure you're doing that, and that's a good thing. So, okay, that was all I have listed here for new business. Go ahead, Councillor Ellis.
Muted, right?
There you go.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I apologize for not getting this on the agenda, but I wanted to have a brief discussion about a defibrillator for the seniors complex. We did talk about it back in, I believe it was March or April, brought it to council and we had a good discussion. And I believe council were on board to purchase, but we decided to hold off until the seniors were ready to reopen. And from my understanding, especially now that they got the COVID funding to sanitize and whatever, they're getting close to hopefully do something in their complex. So I'm bringing that topic back for a discussion. And I'll leave it with the CAO Bob for comment. I believe the seniors are a little nervous about what they should buy. They're not familiar with them in any way, and they do need training. But we're close to the point when they're going to open their doors. So I thought I would bring it back to council for a discussion. I believe we were going to take the funding from the council initiative, but there's things that have to happen before they even purchase because they don't know what to purchase. And I guess they're looking for some support.
Okay. So Bob, you've been working on that, have you not, with Ray?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. So I've had a discussion with the Seniors Club. So we supported them earlier in this meeting. A grant was approved by council to assist the Seniors Club. So that was the first step. With respect to the defibrillator, I had suggested that we get a quotation. If council is open to making a donation, then we just need to figure out which defibrillator and how much. And Chief Haynes and I have had that discussion. I'm not sure, Chief Haynes, if you have any specific recommendation on that one. I did mention to the Seniors Club as well, if they had a particular unit that they preferred and there's a price to it, that they bring that forward to us and we would present to council for assistance. But I don't know if Chief Haynes, if you have any specific comment on that.
No, I agree with you, Bob. We should just work with the seniors and see if they have anything in mind and go with that route and then give any advice we can.
Okay, Councillor Ellis?
Again, through you, Mr. Mayor, the issue here or the problem is they're seniors and they have no idea what they would purchase. So they were looking for some guidance and probably through Chief Haynes, because he deals with them presently, what they should buy. They don't want something that's going to be technology crazy, that's going to be hard for them to utilize. And I have no idea on these things myself, so I guess that's what they're kind of looking for, is a little bit of support that way, so they could say, yeah, okay, then they would go and get a price, but they don't know what to price out. That's the problem, right?
So it might be something to work with the paramedics too from Peterborough, like Randy Mello or one of them, Ray, to find out what the simplest unit is. I know we have them in the township. We used to have them in all the buildings around, like marinas and things. The county got rid of that plan because of liability. And that's the big thing here is once they get one, even if we buy it for them, they'll have to make sure that their insurance company knows that they're liable for it working all the time. That's one of the reasons the county got rid of them, because it was hard to keep up on the life cycle of the batteries and things in there. So, so maybe moving forward, they do need help to know which one would be the best for them. So between you, Ray, and Randy Mello, or one of the paramedics in Peterborough, maybe you could help them with that. Bob, you had a comment?
Yeah, through you, Mayor Martin, just further to the comments that you've already made, I think Chief Haynes and we can source out the simplest unit that's available and bring that to council with a number attached to it, whatever that cost may be, and then we can move forward that way.
Okay, Larry, go ahead.
Yeah, not to prolong this, but I think some of the information that I've been fed through the seniors, they've been attending seniors functions in Norwood, and they have one there. So that's where they're kind of looking to as to something similar probably to what they have, or I don't know. I don't know where to take it, just other than I don't know anything about them and they don't know anything about them. So I'll leave it in your capable hands. Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll work with them and see if we can get something there. And it might be just as simple as phoning the Norwood group to see where they got theirs. I'm not sure where their building even is. So, you know, if it's in the arena, it's probably the townships. But if they have their own building somewhere over there, I'm not sure how it works. But if we can work with them, do you need a motion for that then, Bob? Or I know you've been doing it anyways, but just to make it official that we come back with a recommendation for the seniors group?
Yeah, through you, Mayor Martin, we'll take the motion, and I just want to assure council that we are working with the seniors group. I've been in discussion with them just recently. We had a discussion about lottery licenses, and if I understood correctly, the group is hoping to reopen later this year, probably in the fall. So we're working towards that deadline, and we'll do what we can to help them out.
Good, good, that's good. Okay then. Motion to direct staff to help with getting information on the defibrillator. Councillor Pomeroy, you moving that?
Yeah.
Okay, and a seconder? Councillor Webb? Any questions or comments to that? All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, so we look forward to that. Councillor Pomeroy, go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. I forgot one item on the CP, the tie storage over along the railway tracks. And the creosote that could go into the ground, affect our wells. I don't know whether Peter's got an update on that or not. I haven't been talking to him for a while on that one. Peter, are you still there?
I did talk to the railway about that, Barry, and they had told me that they were moving some of them, and I know I've talked to Peter about it, but one of the things they told me, there isn't enough creosote in those ties to ever leach out anyways, and they are monitoring that, but I have asked them to move it, and I know Peter has been in discussion. If you want to quickly get to that, Peter, and then we'll move on.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, to Councillor Pomeroy. Yes, I've followed up with that again with the area manager, Wesley Bates, and put in another call into the community care line. The first call was in April on the railway ties, and I'm still awaiting a response for the ties as well as the crossings from the railway on that issue. But yeah, they did mention to me the same as yourself, Mayor Martin, on the creosote issue. So, but still, it would be nice to have them looked after and taken care of for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, and I am hoping to get together with Mary Monsef about the drainage issue over there. So I'm trying to get her to come out here, and I want to show her a few things, and that'll be one of the things I show her. So leave it at that, and I'll get a motion to receive the new business. Do you have something in new business, Hart?
Yeah, just quickly. I think staff has been preparing to reopen the office to the public. So I was wondering if the CIO could comment on that.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, we absolutely are preparing to reopen the office. So we're targeting step 3 based on the provincial 3-step process is set to begin on July 21st. We're targeting that date to reopen the office to walk-in traffic. We will begin with controlled entry, one at a time, and we will continue the by appointment basis as well, so we can serve the public in both ways. I just caution council that step 3 opening, based on the information we're getting from public health, it does not mean a full reopening of the economy where everything's happening. There still will be restrictions. Masks and physical distancing will still be part of it, but we can allow people into the building. At step 3, we're told that in-restaurant dining will begin, so we feel that's a logical time for everyone to open the door and come back in. So it should be a couple weeks away. Just also to update council, most of our staff, a lot of us are working through our vaccinations. Some of us are in the process of getting vaccination number 2 soon. So hopefully by step 3, we're all at that point.
Thank you for that, Bob.
You're welcome.
Okay, so a motion to receive the new business questions there, I guess, moved by Councillor Webb, seconder, Councillor Pomeroy, all in favor, and that's carried. And we have a couple of bylaws to be dealt with here. We already dealt with number 1. Number 2 is a bylaw to execute a site plan agreement with Trent Building Supplies. Do I have a mover for that? Moved by Councillor Pomeroy.
With a question.
Okay, I'll get a seconder first. Seconded by Councillor Ellis. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Pomeroy.
Yeah, the security. Might have to have Bob enlighten us on this. The letter of credit and all that, Rod. Or way I read it, I kind of understand that we're on the hook. Maybe John can answer this one.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to answer Councillor Pomeroy's question, I have been in contact with the planner, and the fee is usually a percentage of the construction costs, and that's yet to be determined. So I did review with the planner all those different cost items, and we have gone through it, and that will be part of the final agreement before it's signed. Those figures will be input, and then as the owner completes a section of the work, he'll be eligible to get part of that back.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a mover and a seconder for that bylaw. All in favor of the bylaw? And that's carried. Okay, and our next one is with regards to the animal control bylaw. It was explained earlier, so I'll look for a motion for that. Get it on the floor. Moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Councillor Ellis. Any questions or comments? Speak to the motion. All in favor? And that's,
Aye.
thank you, Dave. That's carried. So with that, that's all we had for bylaws. Our next is the confirming bylaw for today's meeting. I'll look for a motion for the confirming bylaw, moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Councillor Ellis. All in favor? And that's carried. And our next is a motion to adjourn, and Councillor Pomeroy's there. And do we have a seconder? Councillor Webb? All in favor? And that's carried.